After the battle against the Viltrumites and the reconstruction of Thraxa, Goku and the others decided to return to Earth to defend it from the next enemies who would appear. The ship was already close to Earth, so close that it was orbiting its atmosphere. Inside, Mark looked out a porthole while the baby slept in Nolan's arms. "What are you going to call him?" "I still don't know. On Thraxa, babies choose their own name when they learn to speak. But maybe you could help me with that when the time comes." Mark looked away without answering, since the situation was still hard to accept. Goku, for his part, was sitting on the floor of the ship with his legs crossed and his eyes closed, meditating. He recalled every blow, every look of hatred and arrogance that the Viltrumites had directed at him during their fight. "Before we land, I have to say that I don't know how they'll take it down there. I know Nolan was brutal in the past and caused many deaths, but when I saw those other Viltrumites on Thraxa, their contempt for life, their arrogance, it was worse. They didn't even want to conquer. They just wanted to kill them because they considered them inferior." "I know I was part of an empire my whole life, but not anymore. I won't recognize any other Viltrumite after everything they've done." "And that's the difference. You questioned them and fought them. That's what you have to show on Earth, that you can fight to protect it from the Empire." "Even so, Cecil won't accept it so easily, nor will the people who saw my dad destroy the city without mercy, much less the government. The truth is, all of this is very complex for me, but if I've learned anything, it's that fear can make people shut down, but it can also make them listen, if they realize the enemy is bigger than their fear." He spoke while briefly recalling Vegeta's death on planet Namek, since even someone as proud as he eventually recognized how dangerous Frieza was and entrusted the fight to him. During that brief silence, the baby moved slightly, letting out a small sound that broke the tension. Nolan cradled him more carefully, making sure he stayed calm. "Yes, you're right. I have to try to show them that." After a brief conversation, the ship began to descend toward Earth, causing Cecil's team to detect them and act at once. In no time, he prepared a dozen drones and weapons to surround the landing zone, while he sat in a monitoring room with his partner Donald, ready to see who was aboard that ship. Once they landed, Goku stepped out with Nolan and Mark, revealing who they were. The drones circling the ship caught this, surprising Cecil's team with what they were seeing. "What does this mean? Is this some kind of bad joke?" "No, sir. It's more than confirmed that it's Nolan Grayson, accompanied by Goku and Mark. But there's also an infant on board. Could it be a trap?" "I don't know. But at first glance, you can see that, despite his purple skin tone, he looks a lot like Nolan. Do you think he's his?" Cecil remained silent for several seconds, then turned toward the defense team. "If that's the case, we'd better proceed with caution. I don't want to provoke him and have him cause problems like last time." "Are you going to receive them, sir?" "I don't like the idea of that monster being back. But if he's with Mark and with Goku, we can't simply reject him without knowing more. Let them know they have to come to the base, personally." Donald nodded and entered a command into the console, causing one of the drones to descend closer to Goku and the others, projecting a hologram with Cecil's image over the landing field. "I must say I didn't expect you to arrive accompanied." Nolan remained silent as he watched Cecil, since he knew him well and therefore kept his distance. "Nolan Grayson, you have some nerve coming back after what you did. But don't worry. For now, I won't do anything to you. But let me be very clear from the start. One misstep, and I won't hesitate to act. We have a lot to discuss, so come to the base to talk." Nolan and Mark didn't respond to Cecil's words, but nodded slightly at his proposal, while Goku merely looked at Cecil's projection more calmly. "No problem. Here we go." After the brief interaction, they all headed to Cecil's base as agreed. Once they arrived, a heavy metal door opened, and several agents with heavy weaponry escorted them to the command room, where Cecil was waiting. When they arrived, Nolan entered with the baby in his arms, making everything a bit tenser. "Long time no see, Nolan. I hope you have a good explanation for why you came back to Earth with a newborn." "Let me tell you, I'm not here to repeat the past. I'm here to keep it from repeating at the hands of the Viltrumites." Cecil frowned at Nolan's words, glancing for a moment at the little one who slept peacefully. Then tell me the truth. Is that child yours? Yes, he's half Thraxian. But what matters is that the other Viltrumites found me with him, so we were forced to fight and kill them. Their deaths will alert the Empire, and they'll send more to resume the mission on Earth. Nolan's words carried some credibility, but Cecil didn't trust him, so he turned slightly toward Goku for another opinion, since Mark surely couldn't do it, given it was his father. Since you were with them, I want to know your opinion. Do you agree with this? Bringing Nolan back here? To Earth? Goku closed his eyes for a moment and then spoke with a serenity that contrasted with the tension in the room. I think it would be for the best. When I was away, I saw what the Viltrumites are capable of. They didn't want to conquer. They just wanted to exterminate. They scorned any life they considered inferior, even that of their own allies if they weren't strong enough. I've fought cruel beings before, tyrants who destroyed planets just for fun. And believe me, the Viltrumites are in that same category. And even with all that, I saw Nolan confront them and their ideals. He chose to protect people instead of conquering. He put his life on the line for beings who would once have destroyed without hesitation. I'm not saying we should forget everything that's happened before, only that you see the same thing I saw to prevent something worse. Cecil remained motionless at Goku's words, seriously considering what he had said, because the memory of Nolan's victims hung in the air like an invisible weight. Hundreds died by his hand. Why trust him now? Because we don't have another choice. I haven't forgiven him either, but I was there. I saw those other Viltrumites, and if those guys reach Earth and we're not prepared, they'll repeat what happened a year ago. Only this time, there won't be time to stop them. And what do you suggest, Mark? You can keep them under control, but use them to fight. Because if you don't, we'll be fighting a war that could cause many deaths. Alright, but this isn't a permanent truce. Nolan will stay under constant surveillance, and his son too, if he starts showing signs of aggression. Don't worry, if he rebels, I'll take it upon myself to face him. I promise. The weight of his words was such that even Cecil seemed to consider them a guarantee of security, since he knew Goku was stronger than any other being. I hope you remember what you say. Donald, for now, set up a safe zone for them, and connect me with the people at the Pentagon. This is going to be hard to explain. Donald nodded as he left the room with Cecil. Meanwhile, Nolan began to consider what he should do, so he spoke with Mark. Son, I need to ask you something else, and it's not easy. What is it now? I want you to take the baby to your mother, Debbie. Mark turned abruptly as if those words had been a slap. Are you crazy? After what you did to her? After you left her with a broken heart and disappeared? Do you really expect her to help you? I don't expect her to help me. That's why I'm asking you. She wouldn't listen to me and would probably not even let me cross the door. But you're her son. Maybe she'll listen to you. Mark ran a hand over his face, clearly upset but also trapped by the argument's undeniable logic. He turned toward the baby, who was sleeping soundly. And what will you do? Start our training. Not only so you can defend yourself from the Viltrumites, but so you can become stronger than me, stronger than any of them. And for that, I need to focus completely until your brother's ready as well. I'm sure that with your friend Goku's help, we can do it. I've never seen anyone as powerful as him. Goku, who had been watching in silence, raised an eyebrow, since that caught his attention. If that's the case, then before we start Mark's training, how about you train with me first? Are you challenging me? More like, I'm curious. I saw you fight on Thraxa and noticed you're strong, so I want to see how far that strength goes. Are you two going to fight? Not a fight to the death, just a match to measure ourselves and get to know each other better. In my world, fights are also a way to understand the other. Nolan hesitated for a moment because he wasn't a warrior for passion like Goku. He fought out of conviction, out of duty, but something in Goku's challenge interested him. After all, Goku was a guy who radiated peace, yet whose power defied all logic. So maybe it would be good to understand how someone can fight like that without ambition for conquest. Alright, if that's what you want, I'll do it. But I won't hold back. Great! That's exactly what I want! Mark put his hand to his forehead as if reliving his father's madness once more. But deep down, something about this felt right. Maybe Goku was just what Nolan needed to become more human again.